Almost 2 full minutes of regurgitating stuff we already know. I'm not a baby bird, Marvel. I can chew my own plot food, okay?
Based on how many bullshit sins you constantly come up with, I'd say you actually can't.
The Global Repatriation Council knows that for many, it wasn't that easy.
Wait, it wasn't that easy. Last time I said the blip was a bad idea, someone reminded me that Hulk said he wanted everyone to return safely. Certainly he took into account their psychological health as well, right? I know I'm beating a dead pedantic horse here, go figure. But all I'm trying to say is that Marvel has still not wrestled with the moral ambiguity of returning half the population after being mourned as lost for 5 years.
This is straight up wrong. First, your point about the Hulk taking psychological health into consideration is stupid, because you're essentially saying that he should have controlled people's minds when they returned in order to limit the chaos. Second, what do you mean Marvel hasn't dealt with the morality of bringing billions of people back to life? Did you not pay attention to Spider-Man Far From Home? Oh, wait, I think I already know that answer. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that the show is specifically handling the moral dilemma, whereas in Far From Home, it was more of a secondary thing. So essentially, you're asking why hasn't Marvel spent multiple movies or shows dealing with the same problem? Wouldn't you also complain if they spent more than one movie or show dealing with this?
You know who I am!
An ever-increasing caricature of American entitlement that's bordering on parody and starting to hinder my ability to buy into the story?
How are you finding it hard to buy into the story just because John is a symbolic character? I mean, it's a good storytelling device, and there really are a lot of people like this in real life.
He is crazy, but he still has a code.
Yeah, and I've been on the wrong side of that code, Buck, and so have you.
This show is desperately trying to use this Sam-Bucky conversation to give us a valid reason Bucky would go all finding Zemo and break him out of jail. But it's clearly only because the plot needs it to happen, which honestly is happening a lot on this show.
Okay, you clearly don't understand how this works. Sam and Bucky are at a dead end, and Zemo is the only person who can potentially help them. In other words, their only option is to use him, and therefore it actually does make sense.
What's the book you're reading?
Machiavelli.
I've watched this prison break scene several thousand times now, and I still can't figure out what's supposed to have happened here. Bucky asks him what he's reading, as if he's the one that put the key card in the book, but how and when? Zemo's apparently already been reading the book, so why hasn't he seen it before?
You know what? I'm actually gonna agree with you here. This prison breakout was too easy, and honestly didn't make much sense.
So all this time you've been rich?
Apparently so. It was a good thing, too, because we need a jet for any of this to work. Who cares that his assets should have been seized? Marvel's got a Marvel, I guess.
Hold on, are you telling me that TV Sins never bothered to look this up? What a shocker. Anyway, prosecutors have to be able to prove that an asset was involved in a crime to be able to seize it. So, no, Zemo's assets would not have been seized. Also, as for this being convenient, I like the Birdman's explanation. Convenient shit happens all the time in real life, so it's not actually very unrealistic.
James, you will have to become someone you claim is gone.
Is it Santa Claus? Oh, please tell me it's Santa Claus. Sure, in the grimiest, crimiest underbelly bar in this hive of scum and villainy, people are still whipping out their phones to record this kerfuffle. This would be one of the most violent group of Cameraverse people in history.
Are you joking? I can 100% say that if these people didn't take out their phones to record, you'd be seeing that too. Also, in this frame, you can literally only see 2 people recording. 2 is not a lot, genius.
So I'm throwing in a sin for Sarah and anyone else who calls someone without texting first. This is 2021, Sarah. Show some respect for mobile protocol.
I mean, people do still call before texting sometimes, especially family members like siblings.
Is big difference.
I mean, maybe, but if someone said I was a serial killer or I am a serial killer, the difference starts to shrink a bit, doesn't it?
Well, this sin is really stupid, seeing as you cut out the context around this dialogue.
We spend so much time on this party montage that I'm beginning to think this episode is 30% establishing montages.
And we're gonna skip all this bullshit.
You know who he is, right? This is Baron Zemo. I know you've heard of him too, right?
Of course, because every single person in this entire universe is familiar with every single player in these movies.
Whoa, wait a second. You just sinned the fact that so many people are willing to work with Zemo.
And 54% trying to justify all these people being willing to work with f***ing Zemo.
Implying that they should all know who he is. But now you're saying that less people should know who he is. Which is it? Pick a lane.
Now, all of a sudden, Zemo has gone from an intellectual manipulator with an Avenger's grudge to a wealthy vigilante wearing a mask with dead-eye aiming skills and incredible fighting prowess? Since when did Zemo turn into the MCU's version of Batman?
See, if you actually paid any attention to Captain America Civil War, you would remember that they explained how Zemo was part of a covert kill squad before the events of that movie.
The fake doctor is actually Colonel Helmut Zemo. Sokovian intelligence. Zemo ran Echo Scorpion, a Sokovian covert kill squad.
So he has actually always been a badass. You just hadn't seen it before.
So they just happened to pick an empty, open shipping container that somehow leads to a magical escape car?
Seeing as Sharon knows this place really well, as the episode already explained, she clearly knew where to go.
We get the job done. Do you really think they're going to sweat us on the how?
Putting the ends before the means. And what I mean by that is that this show is more concerned about having dramatic episode ends without worrying about what any of it actually means.
This sin is so aggressively stupid that I want to just give up. I mean, this show is basically all about the effects of people's actions, but you're saying that it's not worried about that at all.
I was wondering when you were going to show up.
Is laying a path of Kamoyo beads really the best way to do this?
No. You're not gonna get away with sinning this badass introduction of the Wakandans. It's not happening.